I think those boys need some help, I said as I saw the signifiers. It's probably a trap. I don't know, Gossip. You're always so pessimistic. Alright, get a little closer. Let's go one lap around the asteroid. Everybody look. Tell me what you think. We did a lap around. Seems legit to me. Alright, we'll quickly hop down, see what's going on, and then get ready to go. Make sure that helm is occupied. Everybody, guard our mage. We hopped off onto the asteroid, quickly looked around. Looks like a wrecked hammer ship. Over to the left. Alright, check it out. It's too much open ground. Gossip, yours. Hold back. Nothing touches this ship. Alright, you three, with me. We snuck into the shadows, made our way over, and looked. I see a lot of bones, a few undead. I'm getting some bad vibes. But something had to start that fire. If we can help, we're gonna help. Just then, stepping out of the shadows, was a priest. Oh, I thank you so much for helping me. Please, over this way. Please. Stay right there. What's your name? My name is Brother Ulrich. Please, my ship has crashed here, and there's a vampire lord on board. Just that way, please. All of a sudden, the skeletons rose. Back to the ship. Let's go. Wait, please, take me with you. In this guide, we'll be diving into Space Lairs by Nicky and Wes Nicholson, SJR 8. 60 years ago, a young but undeniably talented and powerful mage named Morgion Frost gained a reputation as a vampire slayer. Convinced that he had eradicated the undead on his home world, Morgion sought other challenges. At the helm of a spelljamming vessel, his travels from sphere to sphere in search of undead to slay and magic to increase his power eventually attracted him to the intentions of a vampire who swore to get Morgion before the mage got him. The vampire lured Morgion to his ship, trapped him, and made him into a lesser vampire. After 20 years of servitude, Morgion was freed when his master was slain. No longer caring for anyone but himself, Morgion took control of his former master's ship, his charmed crew, and possessions. His new freedom was short-lived. However, as his ship was bested in battle and shot down with few survivors, a few days later, they crashed on an empty asteroid, destroying the helm and most of the ship. Some of the vampire's crew managed to escape Morgion's influence and fled with most of the supplies. The others eventually fell prey to Morgion, or died, and were later animated by him. Since they have been marooned, the survivors of the crash have eked out a life for themselves, married, had children, and always done their utmost to fight off the vampires and his minions. The former crew members have never been numerous enough to fight the undead directly. Morgion knows his situation is growing desperate. He is frantic to leave the asteroid before he is left with no further prey to satisfy his need. He has been patient, rationing himself as much as possible, but it has become obvious that time is against him. Now he has formed a plan to lure the next passing ship down to the asteroid, control or feed off the crew, and make his escape back into space, bringing along the crew of undead creatures and a few snacks for good measure. Morgion has put his undead minions to work lately, tearing his ship apart for wood to light signal fires. The vampire hopes that these will be spotted by passing spacefarers who will come to investigate. When they do, he plans to meet them and ask for their help. He will disguise himself as an earnest young priest and claim to have been fighting desperately to hold off the undead around him long enough to be rescued. His minions have been primed to play their roles and are set to make their strategic attacks. His disguise affords him 3 benefits. First, it allows him to wear a long hooded robe to cover himself from the sun without arousing suspicion. Second, if everyone believes he's a priest, they won't be expecting his spells, nor will they think it strange that he can turn the undead. And third, he can get close to members of the party under the guise of healing them and persuade them to help his cause or drain them. As the passing ship moves on, they see the words help in common tongue. The survivors have placed their settlement as far as they could from the vampire's ship. It's not visible to those in position to view the signal fires. The party members can see the remains of a hammer ship, obviously the victim of a battle, resting upside down near the fires. When the members of the party land on the asteroid or climb down from the vessel, they will be attacked by their undead minions hiding in the ship. Morgion is willing to sacrifice his minions of skeletons and zombies. Morgion's plan is to rush in and help protect the party by turning the undead and urging them to follow him to a safe space somewhere nearby they can talk. He won't object if they want to return to their ship and escape, as long as they invite him to go with them. If they agree to invite him to go with them, he'll go with them. If they agree to accompany him, he will take them to a shallow cave that he has prepared to look like a shelter of a castaway. He introduces himself as a priest. He assumes the party won't know what the religion is, or what it should be dressed like, and won't notice that his holy symbol is just an ornate pendant worth about 50 gold pieces. He carries his spellbook and his few remaining components in a backpack. Inside the cave holds a blanket, an armload of brambles and twigs, a small store of beans and grain, a crock of water, and an assortment of carved and drawn holy symbols. If the members of the party accompany him into the shelter, he will explain the following to them in a long-suffering tone. I was shipwrecked on this horrible place, full of undead, one by one. The only survivors were picked off, and now I'm the only one left. The fiend responsible for killing most of these others is a vampire lord who controls the other undead, but I'm not strong enough to defeat him. Would you consider taking me with you when you leave? If they say he is welcome to go with them, or otherwise agree to take him along, the conditions have been met that allow him to enter their ship. If they express interest in slaying the vampire, he will offer to go with them, but explain that he is a very powerful priest. He has already made plans to deal with the party. His minion, Gorlo, a once low-level warrior, the only lesser vampire he has created, has been instructed to attack them when they settle down to eat. Morgion is planning to secretly charm one or more of them. He will try to act in conjunction with Gorlo's attack to dispel the party's magical items. His scheme calls for Gorlo to attack them, draining them to a level Morgion can easily defeat. Once some of the PCs are charmed and the others are sufficiently weakened, he will let them kill Gorlo, if they can. If he can charm all of them, he will bring his 2 coffins in a large chest filled with gems, jewelry, and coins worth almost 10,000 gold pieces aboard their ship. Then he will call for any undead that are still animated to come aboard and act as his crew. If there are other crew members aboard, he will be much more subtle. In the event, he will have them sneak his coffins on board and stalk the rest of the crew member to charm, a few at a time, until he has control of the ship. His first priority, once in command of the vessel, is to rid the ship's crew of any magical items. Then he will take any magical items he can use and have the rest sold or thrown away. Finally, he will go through the spellbooks belonging to any of the mages aboard, tearing out any pages with spells he feels could threaten him. He might even let useful servants live for quite a while, as long as they remain under his control. If anybody discovers that Morgion is a vampire before he can get aboard their ship and attack him, he will try to escape to the coffin he has concealed in a small hollow dug beneath his overturned ship. His other coffin is hidden behind what looks like an impassable rock at the rear of his cave. While there is plenty of room for someone in gaseous form to pass through the rubble, it would take the party at least 4 hours to dig out a passage large enough to allow them through. At the survivors' village, you see the villagers that have been battling Morgion, and they'll tell the truth when approached. If Morgion is asked about the villagers, he will claim he has no reason to trust them, as they used to be under the vampire's control. He will also warn the party not to trust any of the villagers, as they might be baiting a trap for them.